On social media, people are always talking, and people love to talk about this too, about changes to the algorithm. Changes to any algorithm don't matter because all algorithms work virtually the same way. There are two ways that an algorithm could work. The first one is called SEO, search engine optimization, and this is something that you, the user, actually does. SEO is keywords that you put in selected areas that the algorithm will read, pick out those keywords and say, oh, I know what to do with this content now. And it will use that to suggest to other people, typically, or will be used in searches. Let's take an example for a minute. Let's say that I'm in Instagram. It doesn't even matter if it's Instagram. It could be YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, literally anything. I'm making a post. I've done all the work. I upload the post, and now I'm at the point that I'm writing in the caption box. What do I write? Well, what's my content? Well, Social Update is about social media. So let's say that I posted, let's just say that I posted this video in a short form content to post on Reels. What I would most likely do with this is I would reiterate my biggest point. I would say that changes to the algorithm don't make a difference, and I would say that there are two ways an algorithm could work. It could analyze the SEO or it could analyze the content itself. And I would explain probably what this means exactly. SEO looks for specific keywords. So the algorithm is going to look for the word algorithm. Computer. Instagram, because we're on Instagram, it's going to look at maybe analyze, potentially, social media, cameras, all of these words that are very similar to social media I want in there. Let's take another example just for the sake of fun. Let's say that there's a bakery. They're posting a picture of a very delicious cake. I mean, like 3 stories tall, like beautifully covered. It's got flowers on it and it looks realistic. I mean, like if you were to eat this thing, like you would feel so guilty because it looked that good. Now let's say that this picture does it an amazing amount of justice. What kind of words do they want to use? Well, they baked a cake. Cake. Baking. Cooking. Possibly oven, maybe? If there's a style of cake that this fits into, maybe it's a wedding cake. So you're definitely going to want to put wedding cake in there. But you're going to want to use actual phrases and words because somebody will actually be reading this. So say that you kind of put instructions. Let's say that you put instructions in the caption box or in the description box or whatever it's called on the platform you're using. You're going to want to describe your process. You're going to want to say how to get the final results. What kind of icing did you use? I mean, that kind of stuff. It can be as long as you want, as long as they allow that. SEO isn't just used in caption boxes or description boxes. It's also used, believe it or not, in your name. Social Update doesn't accurately describe what it is that I do and I talk about. With that, I might say social media marketing. That helps more to describe what it is that I do and talk about. I might even add the word coach. Now on to the second way that an algorithm could work, and I think in a lot of ways that they do. And there is actually proof out there that we know of, like that everyone's aware of, that this happens. And that is when the algorithm actually analyzes the content itself. And let me prove that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Demonetization because of profanity and language use. Somebody or something was going through and analyzing the audio, piecing words out of it, putting it together, and realizing the words that were being used were not something that they wanted to encourage. And therefore, they get demonetized. It happens all the time. We all know this. But I'll give you another example as well. I was on Instagram and I posted a story of a quote that I liked. Simple enough. I gave credit to the person who said the quote. And Instagram came back to me that very same day, because I happened to look, and said that there was no historical proof that this person had said this quote. And there was no reason that it should have known what I was talking about because I created, it was essentially to Instagram as a JPEG. It was just a picture. I had created this in third-party software and rendered it, and it was just literally a JPEG. That's it. But I mean, if I can do stuff like that in Photoshop where I can outline shapes and it knows what the shape is, then why can't something even more sophisticated do that? Another example could also be, and I've sort of run into this, I think, possibly, is if you're saying stuff about a platform on that platform and they don't really support it or encourage it. Now, that happens a lot less frequently and is a lot less obvious, but things like that could happen and probably do happen. Now, how is this helpful to you as the business owner? Well, the first thing, and I mentioned this at the very start of my video, is that most changes to an algorithm aren't going to make a difference. There is one change that I know of right now that is happening to an algorithm that makes a massive difference, and that is Instagram switching from hashtags as their primary form of SEO to just straight up SEO. But how is this useful to you as the business owner? How can you use this to help your content? The first thing, and I mentioned this at the very start of my video, is that most changes to an algorithm are going to make absolutely no difference to you, especially immediately. Most changes that are going to occur, you're either not going to know about because platforms do tend to be very secretive about exactly how their algorithms work. But also, most of these changes, even if that they do tell you about, or even the ones that they don't, are probably going to make the analyzation of your content itself easier, or SEO to work better, which either of these only help you. What I really want you to take away from this video is just simply how a computer works and how it can analyze something. There are very limited ways, but those limited ways work very well sometimes. And being aware of these, you can know how, I don't want to say exploit them, but how to use them better to your advantage, if that makes some sense. And as algorithms work better, it will be better able to take your content and everyone else's content, but your content, if you know what you're doing, and show it and know who to show it to. So thank you so much for watching. First off, I absolutely appreciate it when people watch, especially all the way to the end. Down in the comments, I want to know, what is your favorite platform? And why is it your favorite platform? And it could be for literally any reason. I seriously, I want to know. This truly interests me. What is your favorite platform and why?